Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a little boy's haircut right at home using a few simple tools. Here I have my hair clippers from Wall, a hair comb, some shears, a neck dusting brush, powder, a water bottle sprayer, and the clipper guards for my clippers. I also like to use this hair cape around his neck just to minimize the amount of hair that gets stuck to his body. So let's get started. So the first thing I'll do is get the clipper guard number 3 and attach that to my clippers. Then I get the comb and I brush the top part of his hair out of the way off to the side just so that I don't accidentally cut that hair with the clippers because I'll be using the shears for that part. Then I like to move his head forward and start right in the back in the center. And with the guard number 3, I go all the way up to the ridge of his head until I run out of hair to cut. And then I'll slowly make my way all the way around his head on the sides and in the back until I get to the other side, and I do the same thing. I grab the comb, brush the hair now to the opposite side, and work on the side of his head on top of his ears, going all the way up. Once I'm done with that, I go ahead and grab the clipper guard number 2 and attach it to my clippers. I then start working on the side of his head right above his ear. I cut about 1 inch above his ear and start making my way all the way around and in the back. Now for the back, I'm not gonna go all the way up as I did when I had the attachment number 3. I'm just gonna go about halfway. That way, it'll kind of give me a natural fade. Next, I'm going to attach my last guard, which is the number 1. And then once I'm done with that, we'll be done with the clippers part of this haircut. I go about a 1/4 inch above his ears and I make my way all the way around the head. Again, kind of grabbing the top of his head, moving it forward, and cutting all the way around. Now I'm going to start working on the top part of his hair. I'm grabbing my water bottle and I start spraying his hair with water until it is nice and saturated. I then grab my comb and brush his hair, making sure there are no knots or tangles. To work on the top part of his hair, I like to first set a mohawk guide. To do that, I comb his hair back, find the center of his head, and kind of part the hair down the middle. I then grab a small section of hair and pull it up with my fingers to start cutting the hair with the straight shears. So I pull the hair up through my fingers and then I make that first cut with the straight shears. And this is going to be my guide for the rest of the haircut. I then grab another small little section of hair and do the same thing. So I'm going to keep doing this until all of the hairs are matching the same length, following my guide. The key here is to keep grabbing small sections and going slowly so that you can always find your guide and avoid cut marks. So now I'm doing the same thing on the side. I found my guide and then I match the hair and then I cut it. Pull the hair up, find the guide, and then cut it. So now I'm just going to keep doing this until all of the hair on top of his head is cut and everything is nice and even, matching my first original guide. Next, I'm going to start working on the transition of the haircut. So I'm going to brush his hair off to the side and I'm gonna grab my thinning shears, and that's going to help me to get rid of any lines and kind of give me a smooth transition from the clippers to the top part of his hair. The haircut is pretty much finished at this point. The reason why I like using the thinning shears, it's because it's like an eraser and it gets rid of any lines that you see in the hair and makes everything nice and smooth. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on his bangs. So I comb his hair all the way forward. Then I grab my straight shears and kind of just make a straight line against his forehead, cutting the hairs that are covering his eyes. I do the same thing on the other side, matching the same length. A little trick that I learned to make the bangs look more natural and not have that straight across line on your forehead is to brush the hair up, and then using the straight shears, just make sort of like vertical cuts in the ends of the hair all the way across the bangs. For some reason, once the hair naturally falls down, you don't end up with that straight line. Now for the final part, and this part is totally optional, but I like to get my trimmer and just work on the outline of his hair. So I just go over his ear, make a half circle, the same thing on the other side. Then I make a line, and then I move his head forward and sort of make a straight line across the back of his neck to give it more of a finished look. And that's it for the haircut. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up and also give me some tips and suggestions on how I can improve his haircut. Thanks guys, see you next time.